Happy New Year, y'all, and goodbye 2024. It sounds so bittersweet to be saying goodbye to 2024 because in 2024 I started my YouTube channel and now this is the last video of 2024 and we're bringing in all the 2025 content. But I'm also so excited and so happy for this video specifically and all the content we had to come. So yes, I have my laptop in front of me because we are doing an end of the year book tag. And if you want to know my business, my book business, then keep watching. Like, let's jump right into it. I have a few questions and we're going to get right into it. So the first question I have is a book I wish I could read again for the first time. So a book you wish that you could read again for the first time. Like if I wiped my memory clean and had a chance to reread this book, what book would I choose? And the book that I'm choosing is Funny Story and One True Loves. First of all, let me start with this one, right? So One True Loves was my first 5-star of the year because the emotions that it evoked from me is absolutely crazy. The way that I felt reading this book, the tears that I shed reading this book, like this solidified Taylor Jenkins Reid for me as an author. And this was the first book that I read from her. And it set me on to read all of her books. Literally every single last one of her books, it set me out to read it because this book was amazing. The feelings. Like this book is about a girl, Emma, and her husband Jesse passes away in a plane incident. And the book literally starts off so crazy because the whole time Emma is mourning Jesse, but Jesse is not really dead. She's falling in love with somebody else. So this is how the book starts off, right? This is what got me from page 1 and locked me in, and I literally could not get out my seat. It says, I'm finishing up dinner with my family and my fiance when my husband calls. It was a jump scare. It literally was a jump scare. Once I read that in store, I had to pick up the book and I had to read it because what are you telling me? Like, I have to figure this out and I have to find out this story. Now, I fell in love with this because 1, I couldn't imagine being in this position ever. But 2, it was just a great book and I recommend every single body in the world read this because this shit was amazing. Like, I ate it up so bad and I let 3 people read it after me because it was that good. So yes, this is a book that I wish I could wipe my memory clean and read all over again. The next book is Funny Story. So Funny Story is a book that I just remember having the best time reading. Like the way that I felt reading this, if you want to go back and watch my vlog, because I have a vlog up of when I was reading this, I was loving it. I literally said, Miss Emily Henry girl, this is how you're supposed to do a romance. Because this is what romance is. Like, this is what romance is about. Like, I just remember them being so, feeling so normal and like not hella unrealistic and being so normal and just loving the normalcy, but then also loving how realistic it felt and like the bar isn't too high. Like, not that he wasn't setting the bar very high. It's just like, this is achievable in real life. So if he's telling you he can't, he can. Like, that's just what it gave for real. Like, you seeing a very good relationship and a very healthy relationship and how it's being built in front of your face. And like everything about it, the banter, the way that they built it up, the thoughts that the characters had, like everything about it, loved. Like, this is a book that I wish that I could just read it all over for the first time because it was so good when I was reading it. Like, I love this book and I would never stop loving this book, I don't think, because yeah, this is great. Like, I think about rereading this constantly. So yeah, this book I love. So we have another question. So the second question was, who is my favorite characters of 2024? So what is my favorite book characters of 2024? So I have to start this off and be very honest. It's back from this book again. And my favorite character is Miles. I love Daphne, don't get me wrong. But Miles, I love him so much. And the reason why I love Miles is just, again, that normalcy that I felt with him. But also, like, they don't make him like Miles. Like, it was so normal, but then it was also like, he was so fine and tender in the way that he was loving on her. And it was just so beautiful to see a male MC who just loves on the woman so naturally as well. Like, it just gave, I'm a man and I'm here, and you know what time it is. Like, all the grandmas loved him. Everybody in his community loved him because he just feels so home. Like, he just feels like home. And that's why I love him, because he literally feels like home. And no other male character, main character, no other female MC made me feel the way Miles made me feel when I was reading this. He literally felt like home for me, and I've never met him. Like, yeah. Emily Henry has solidified her spot in my brain with this book because it was just pure greatness. I loved it so much. And then I have another one, but I don't have the book because I read it on my Kindle. So we have Lucas from The Answer Is No by Frederick Bachman. He also dropped this book, I think like a month ago. So this book is still pretty new, but Lucas is my favorite because I just felt like he was such a humorous character, but he also had it so down packed to the T of like, being happy is simple. And if you take control of and do the things that make you happy, rarely would you ever be unhappy. Of course, that's not true. Life is not black and white, but the person he presented himself to be, I loved this so much. He was just like, I don't care about what any of you have going on. I want to sit here, watch my shows, be in my comfort zone. Not in my comfort zone, but watch my comfort shows, eat my ice cream, play my games, and just do all the things that I love to do because that makes me happy. And like, if I let any of you into my space, you guys have the opportunity to mess with my happiness. And I just don't want that. And by the end of the book, of course, we see his character redemption. And like, even though he didn't really need a character redemption, I loved him. I loved everything about him, and just like how much of a person he was as well. Like, how much of a person he was and how he built himself up. And like, the quotes in that book hit so fucking hard because it was just like, it was just so good. I loved it so much. The third question is a book you weren't expecting to be great but exceeded your expectations, and why? So Taming 7 was a book that I wasn't expecting to be great because everybody was talking shit about this book. Everybody was saying how it wasn't good. It wasn't like their favorite in the series, and like they were rating it super low. So then it made me think it wasn't going to be good, which I put it off for months because of that. I didn't read it for months, but I loved this story. I loved the way that it was represented. Of course, I would have loved to see more of Clara and Gibbsy and just like that banter we got in the other books, but I feel like that's what it was about. It was about giving us that banter in the other books because their story is more complex than just the banter, and we got to see that throughout all the other books. So in this book, I feel like we had to discuss the trauma between them, like how they came apart and how they became what they are and who they are. And of course, a lot of people did not like the Lizzie and Gibbsy beef, but to me personally, I feel like their stories are just connected. It's bound to happen. You can't have one without the other because their stories connect that way. And so I loved it, and I understood why it was written that way, and I appreciated it. And I appreciated us having those other books and seeing them in the background because that was their build-up, you know, and that was them, and that still is them even in this book. But we didn't have to discuss all of that because we've seen that in the other 4 books. But of course, I would not be mad if she gave us another book because I don't understand why she started off giving us 2 books for each couple and then decided that we're only going to get 1, because I think I heard somewhere that this is going to be the only book. But then again, I understand that because it's like, where does she go from here, you know? But this was a book that exceeded my expectations because everybody was talking shit, but I ended up loving it, and I love this book so much. A book I wanted more from but was disappointed after reading. I expected so much from this book because I don't know. I just expected so much more because when you read the back of the book and you read their synopsis, you're thinking, okay, another chance at romance, It's supposed to be very heart-wrenching. You're hearing that a lot of trauma went on with them. Second chance romance trope. All of the things, right? And you're like, okay, this is it says literally, but when life delivered blow after devastating blow, Yasmin and Josiah Wade found that love couldn't solve or save everything. And to me, that I expected so much from that, because I feel like you can go anywhere with that trope and like that synopsis, but it felt so flat because I felt like their connection was built so much on sexual connection instead of emotional. A lot of the times Kennedy Ryan was telling us that they loved each other, but every time she showed us a glimpse of that, it was sexual, about them looking at each other a certain way or just something like that, which I didn't really appreciate, because I wanted to feel the yearning and I wanted to feel like you guys have all these years together and all this chemistry, but I didn't feel the chemistry. It just felt like you guys miss having sex with each other, and that's just the reality to me. And so I rated this like a 3-star. It's not the worst book, but it did disappoint me because I just had really high hopes. Just off the simple fact that you can take this book so many places and that it could have been so devastating. And to me, a good devastating romance would do it every single time. So this disappointed me a little bit, but I look forward to reading more Kennedy Ryan books. I guess favorite and least favorite. No. Wait, is it that? Yeah, favorite and least favorite new releases of the year. So, my favorite, you can probably guess by now. Like, if this doesn't tell you that you need to go read this, you have to go read this. Bro, this favorite new release of the year. And this, again, solidified Emily Henry for me. And, like, I have to read all of her books now. I went to New York, bought one of her other books because I have to read it. Even though I read Happy Place and I wasn't the biggest fan. But it's just like, if she can write this, I have to. I just loved this, and I just hope that she continues to write these types of stories. I mean, if you haven't already read this, you need to, because this is in everybody's top reads. So please, if you don't take it from me, take it from every single body. This book is amazing. It's great. I love it. I literally love this book, and I will never stop raving and ranting about this book. I love this so much. So this book was my least favorite new release of the year. This book was The Summer of Yes, and so I picked this up, one, because I've heard great things about Courtney Walsh, but I also picked this up because I was trying to be in my own Summer of Yes this year, like just do it for the plot and just have fun with everything that you do, and just don't let shit stop you. Like, life is serious, but not that serious. Like, take risks, do it for the plot. You never know where it's taking you, and like, there's beauty in that. There's beauty in not letting fear keep you from doing the unknown. And so when I read this title, I was like, yes, I have to get this. I have to get this because this is the life that I'm trying to live this summer. But I didn't really like it. I felt like the pacing was pretty slow, but then I also just felt like the characters were very one-dimensional, and it just kind of fell flat for me. Like, I don't know. It just kind of fell flat for me, and I didn't really get connected to this book and the characters at all, so I feel like this was just my least favorite new release of the year, and that's fine, but yeah. Longest and shortest book you read this year. So the longest book I read this year was in this series, and it was the first book, Binding 13, because I did read that this year, and that was 887 pages long. And then the shortest book I read this year was The Answer Is No, which was 68 pages long. So yeah. They were both very good books, and of course, if I read Binding 13 and got all the way to the last book that has been released thus far, then it was a good-ass book. And then The Answer Is No, one of my favorite characters came from there. So yeah, both my longest and shortest books did something for me this year that I just will never forget. So, most emotional book of the year. So if you caught it earlier in the video, I said the tears that this book evoked for me. And is evoked a word? I don't know. But the tears that this book got out of me, I cried in the hair salon. I broke down. Literally, I'm sitting in the hair salon chair, she's doing my braids, and I'm boo-hoo crying like a baby. and I was trying to mentally tell myself to stop. Like, I'm literally like, stop crying, stop crying, stop crying. And it just kept going. One True Loves. I love this book. I don't think I'll ever forget this book, ever, no matter where I'm at in life or how many books I read. This book will always do something for me because I felt things that I don't think I've ever felt, just because it's such a tough place to be in. I'm big on loyalty, but then it's like, who do you be loyal to? And it's just so much things going on in this book, and it was just so emotionally devastating. But then it's like it broke you in the worst ways and built you up in the best. And like, I don't know, I just love this book so much. Please read this book. If you please do it for me, please. I loved it. The best series I read this year. So I have two for this, okay? I have two for this, maybe even three, but I don't know. So first we're gonna go with the Boys of Thomas series, which is where Tammin 7 is from. The Boys of Thomas series was one of the best, right? So when I first started the series, I didn't think it was the best. Let me just be honest. Keeping, Finding, Saving 6, Redeeming 6, I didn't feel like it was the best. I didn't think I'm in love with this series the way that people hold it to that standard. But once I was out of that world, it's like I wanted to be back in it so bad. I was in a slump for so long, and all I could think about was Taming 7. It was nothing else I wanted to read but Taming 7. I missed the characters so much. It's like every time I'm out of that world, I miss them so much. Even if when I am in the world, I don't think that it's the best time I'm having. The moment I get out, I miss them so much, as if like we spoke every day. And so that alone made me think this is one of the best series that I've probably read ever, because I miss them. I'm connected to them. We're friends. We're locked in. We're family. And you know, like your family, you don't always think y'all the best when y'all hanging around each other. But the moment that you guys separate, you're like, no, but I really do have the best family in the whole entire world. That's me with that series. I love that series. I'll never forget that series. Ever. And then the next series that we have is the Natural series. So this series was one that I just loved this year. I loved reading it. I loved being in these characters' perspectives. Who keeps texting my phone? I loved reading it. I loved being in this world, and I just loved following these kids in their like Criminal Minds era, trying to solve these cases, and like how all the cases connected to the kids. And then you got a love triangle going on. You have exes and best friends and found family and guardianship and all these things, and it was just so mysterious, thrilling, and so fast-paced. And I really love these characters. I don't really have much to say about it. I love Criminal Minds and I love these characters, and I really wish that we get more of these, even though it's done. But I love this that much that I want more. Favorite new author? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Taylor Jenkins Reid. That's my girl. She's my favorite new author of the year. Like, favorite new author, period. Again, I read that book and I went on to read every single last one of her books, and they all hit in some sort of way. Even if they're not all 5-star, they're never less than a 3.75, 3.5. Like, they all hit. I love her so much. I love her writing style. I love the way that she does something with the characters and like the feelings that you get and like the devastation. Like, she's an author who knows how to write devastation into a book. Like, seriously. And I love it. I yearn for it. Like, I need to keep reading her books. Like, it's not even a want anymore. It's a need. It's a necessity. She is who she thinks she is. Period. Books you finally read that's been sitting on your TBR for forever. Oh, this year, 2024, again, I read The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, which is right there. Yeah, I read The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and I had a good time reading it. Was it my fave or all-time fave? No. Did I have a good time reading it? Yes, it's Taylor Jenkins Reid. Who won't have a good time reading her books, right? But that was just a book that I had a really good time reading, and I'm so happy that it's off of my TBR. Not in a bad way, like I'm happy it's off my TBR, but like I finally got to it, and I know it's in the book, and I don't have to feel the FOMO and just be like, everybody read it but me. Books I think should be made into a TV show or movie. So there's two things that I want to say. Daisy Jones and the Six. We can do TV show or we can do movie. But I'd rather, you know what? Maybe we could do either or with Daisy Jones and the Six. I'm thinking, what do I want, a movie or a TV show? I don't know, but I just love that book so much, and it'll be a great adaptation if we do a movie or a TV show. Like, she laid out the format. Did we do a movie? Do they have a movie or a TV show already? I don't know, but she laid out the format. It's beautiful. Just pick it up. Somebody buy the rights, buy it, and buy the transcript, and let's get it going. Cause it's no reason why it shouldn't already be one. That's why I'm like, did she already do it? Okay, y'all, the lighting just completely changed. Do not mind that. I am so aggravated because my light just died. And it's winter, so we don't have natural light, right? But whatever, it's okay. Next thing that I was thinking should be changed into a TV show or a movie series is the natural series. Like, if we had a kid's Criminal Minds exactly followed the way that those books are followed, money is to be made and people are not making it. What's going on? It's amazing. It's like right there. Pick it up, somebody. Like, I'm ready to watch it on film. Like, the whole time that I was telling people about those books, they're like, is this a movie or is this a book? I'm like, no, it's a book. It's a book, but I see what you guys are trying to do. So let's get to it. And like, please, somebody, just anybody, just do it. It's right there. Again, like, it's right there. Just do it, right? And then we have books that I enjoyed that many people did not enjoy this year. And I have two for this one as well. The first one I'm going to go with is Taming 7. That I enjoyed that many people did not enjoy this year. And again, like, I don't know why, but I enjoyed it and I loved it, and I hope that you enjoy it too when you read it if you haven't already. So yeah, this was one of the books that I enjoyed, but then another one that I enjoyed a lot, Iron Flame. Iron Flame I enjoyed so much. Like, I thought it was Fourth Wing for me, but it was Iron Flame for me. Because I realized that after Fourth Wing, yes, I did jump straight into this book. But once I was done with this book, this was all I can think about. All I could think about was Iron Flame, Iron Flame, Iron Flame, Iron Flame, Iron Flame, Iron Flame. Like, I needed this book. I wanted this book. It was just, you guys have to read this. Like, this is by far way more action-packed, world building, but you definitely get the thick of the book, and like, you need this. This is imperative to the series. This is an Empyrean series. This is imperative, and I love this book. And I know that a lot of people did not like this book, which again, I cannot tell you why, because I loved it. I loved it. I ate it up, and I have no shame about it. I love this book. Read it, please. And then we have a book, the worst book that I read this year. Cake. Black Cake was the worst book that I think I've ever read. No, let me not do that. This was just a bad book to me. I did not like it. I didn't even like the show. I don't feel like they casted the right people for it. The book was just, it had a lot of potholes, and it's not like it's a series. It's one book, so why is there potholes, right? It was just, it felt super flat for me, and I hated this book. I did not like any second that I spent reading this book. And I just wanted to get to the end to see what it was about. Like, that's all. Like, I was just desperate to see what it was about. But I did not really enjoy this book that much. And that's fine. But I didn't really enjoy this. I think I gave this like a 1 star. I did not enjoy this book. And this was the worst book that I read of 2024. The book I read with the best quotes. / I guess what I mean is the quotes that have stuck with me for a very long time. Now this girl, just for the summer, do you see these? I've never tabbed a book before. She stuck with me. There's quotes in this book that I would never forget, because to be loved this way. To be loved this way. And that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to do a rapid 2025 TBR priorities, right? I'm gonna put this on the floor. We just got done with 2024. That is the end of the year book tag, and I hope you guys enjoyed that segment of the video. But now we are gonna get into books I want to read in 2025. Rapid TBR. So let me start with the books that I don't have in person, like on my physical TBR. Let's just get that out the way. I'm gonna put them here, 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 maybe, or just say them, I don't know. But let's just get this out the way. So the first one is the Beertown series. I want to finish the whole thing. So I'm currently reading Beertown, but like Us Against You, and I don't even know what the other book is called. But I just know that that is a top priority in 2025 because I think that I'm gonna love Beertown so much that I need it. I need more, and I'm gonna be so enthralled in the series that I'm gonna have to finish it. It is a priority for me in 2025. Then we have the Magnolia Parks universe. Now, everybody loves this series, and I need to see what's the hype because I want to get connected to characters the way that I'm connected to the Boys of Tommen characters. And I think Magnolia Parks would do that for me, so I need that in 2025. The Poppy War trilogy. This trilogy has literally excited me since the first time I've ever heard about it. Now, do I think it's going to be devastating and heart-crushing, and why do I want to put myself through that? Of course. But do I still want to put myself through that? Yes. Onyx Storm. So this is a continuation of the Empyrean series, which is this series with Fourth Wing and Iron Flame. I don't have to explain much because you guys see that I love Iron Flame, which means I loved Fourth Wing, because to go into Iron Flame you have to read Fourth Wing, and now I'm desperately waiting on Onyx Storm because we're on a cliffhanger right now and I need to see what happens. Like, I can't wait any longer at all. Then we have A Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry, and I just need to read this because I loved Funny Story and it was my top book of the year. One of my top books of the year, and so I need to read it. Like, it's a must. I need to see her other work, and I need to just, I don't know. I need to see what else she's going to put out, because if I would have let Happy Place stop me from getting another one of her books, I would have never met Funny Story. And so, like, now I feel like I have to take the chance and go again and read her book, and I just feel like it's gonna be so good. I don't know, I just feel something. And I also feel like it might be a little different this time. Something's giving me that vibe. I don't know if it's the cover or the title, but I think it's gonna be a little different this time. And I'm excited to see that, only because, like, I loved this book. We have The Woman by Kristen Hanna. So I need to get into Kristen Hanna. Everybody knows she is the queen at what she does. She can place you in a setting when she wants to and how she wants to, and she can make you feel things that you didn't know you could feel. So The Woman is a book that I need to read in 2025. But let's get into our physical TBR. Why don't we? Six of Crows. Priority. Top priority, actually. Heist. Criminals on a mission. Need that. Legendborn. I heard that she is a female MC who has to get what she wants when she wants it, and she's just so badass, and like, I need this because isn't like the third book coming out this year? Yeah, need to get into this in 2025. The Ministry of Time, Haley Phams, one of her favorite books of the year. I need to get into this. The Nightingale. So I started this recently, but I put it down to pick up Beartown because I just feel like I need to sit with this, and I've been working so much, but this is a necessity. It's gonna get done. It's my priority. Normal People by Sally Rooney. I honestly just want to know what's the Sally Rooney hype, and I just want to see if he's a person that's gonna be for me. Like, I know he's for some people and then he's not for some people, but I want to see if he's for me. These are pretty as fuck. They're gonna read this year. I want to be a part of Elsie Silver's world. I haven't read anything by her, and I think, no, not I think, this year we're changing that, okay? So I heard some people said this was bad. But I also heard some people say Taming 7 was bad and that Iron Flame was bad, but then I love them. So I'm gonna give this a shot for myself. For the last priority reads of 2025, which these are just priority. I'm gonna add stuff, take away stuff. Like, it's always gonna be changing no matter what, because our reading taste is changing, our mood is changing. We find out things and we might be triggered by things, and so things are constantly changing. And plus, there's always new releases coming out, and there's always things that I want to read. So some of these might not get got to, but I'm ambitious, and these are books that I really, really, really have wanted to get to. And like, I feel like starting over fresh, because it's gonna be the first of the year, we can get through all of these, right? We're getting into ACOTAR. This is a must. We are reading ACOTAR this year, okay? Like, it's gonna happen. It's been bound to happen, and yeah, this needs to get got, okay? Like, if I don't read this, grab me by my neck, pick me up, and slam me on the curb. No, don't do that. But I have to read this because I need to see, what are y'all talking about? The vacuum scene. What are you guys talking about? I want to know. Like, I have to know. I'm just, curiosity may kill the cat. And with that, the 2024 season has come to an end.